walk at certain areas, advised to use car in vulnerable areas. Turning point in India's war against corruption, UK to extradite fugitive arms dealer and Robert Vadra's aide Sanjay Bhandari. Day after street march, Kejriwal frames guns on Delhi LG in the Delhi Assembly, calls him Viceroy, says LG must not behave like headmaster. United Nations Security Council lists Pakistan-based terrorist Abdul Rahman Makki as a global terrorist after repeated efforts by China to block listing. Modi government hails UNSC decision. Pakistan Prime Minister's big statement on India. Shahbaz Sharif claims Pakistan has learned its lesson after 3 wars against India.
Pakistan has learned its lesson. We had 3 wars with India, 3. And the consequence of those wars, as a result, it only brought more miseries.
Good evening, viewers. Our top focus is on one BJP MP, Tejaswi Surya. And the question that we are asking, did Mr. Tejaswi Surya somewhere down the line jeopardize passenger security on board Indigo Airways? A big controversy has now erupted over an Indigo flight which BJP MP Tejaswi Surya travelled in. Co-passengers have now alleged, claiming that Tejaswi Surya opened the emergency exit door of the aircraft right before takeoff, and that too for pure fun. The incident took place on the Chennai Trichy flight, where it's been reported that BJP TN chief Annamalai and DMK spokesperson BT Arasa Kumar has said they were asked to deboard and wait in the bus for over 30 minutes. The flight finally took off after 3 hours of what was clearly an alleged misadventure by none else but Mr. Tejaswi Surya. The opposition has now targeted the BJP over its MP's accident, is what is being called. Congress accused the Bengaluru South MP of trying to suppress news of the incident as well. TMC has also jumped in, saying Tejaswi has been given a free pass for his political links. Will Jeopardises Sindhya take action against him? Meanwhile, AIMIM chief Asauddin Owaisi has also tweeted saying, if you have a Sanskari name, it is accidental. If the name is Abdul, then sky is the limit. Please always keep your seat belts on. Once again, viewers, what is the allegation? The allegation is, which many eyewitness accounts suggest, that Tejaswi Surya, the MP who was on board this Indigo flight, he was sitting on the exit passageway on the seats which line the exit door, and opened the exit door for fun. Now, is that what really went down is the big question. Many eyewitness corroborate the story, say the same thing, and the finally actually took off after 3 hours because all the passengers were deboarded. Mr. Tejaswi Surya was moved to a different seat. Why did he do it is the big question. They say it was an accident, but the question that we also raise, viewers, and we must raise, can anyone accidentally open the exit door of an aircraft? And if so, hasn't he jeopardized passenger lives? And shouldn't he pay the price? What is the official punishment for misconduct or misadventure such as this? We're going to try and get in an understanding. But I want to cut across to my colleague Sagay Raj, who's joining us for the very latest. Any confirmation, Sagay, that's coming in right now, either from the Bharatiya Janata Party or Tejaswi Surya himself? Has he apologized for the same?
No, there is no any kind of clarification from the BJP office or from Tejaswi Surya's office. We were trying to reach them, but so far they have not spoken about this. They have not ruled out, or they have not clarified that he was a part of that particular flight. But the Congress are alleging that there are several media reports stating that Tejaswi Surya was allegedly in that particular flight, and he was the one who had opened that emergency door on the flight, and he was immediately shifted after the aircraft staff noticed that particular malpractice of the passenger. But even the airlines has also issued a statement on the same way. They said that yes, the incident has happened and the passenger was immediately prepared, and they had also follow the safety protocol which they have to follow. And thereafter, the flight was taken off from Chennai to Trivandrum. And there are also reports as well as Arasha Kumar, the DMK leader, has confirmed that Annamalai was on the flight.
I'm going to just stay with me. I'm going to come right back to you, and I'm going to ask you, under the protocol of the DGCA, if any passenger indulges in a misconduct or what seemingly is a misadventure for fun of sorts, what is the price that they pay? What is the punishment, that is meted out? I'm going to ask you that coming right back, but let's cut across to all the reactions that have poured in. The story, understandably, has also got political.
So are you alleging that Tejaswi Surya has essentially used his power as a member of parliament of the BJP to kind of suppress this news?
Doesn't it look like that? What is it? If you look at how things have panned out, it looks like he's used his good offices. My only thing is, if he's clean, let him come out and tell. And it is just not some small thing. He's tried to open the emergency exit of an airplane. There are serious ramifications for this. And it's just not him. What about his co-passenger safety? A public representative needs to be aware of what is happening, right? So if he is clean, let him come out and make a statement that I was not on that flight. I have nothing to do with that. I did not write an apology letter. See, there is an eyewitness who has quoted this.
Sir, the allegation is that along with Annamalai, Tejaswi Surya was there. You're saying you didn't see Tejaswi on board?
I don't know, but my emergency door is somebody's touch emergency door, open the door. I think lose the emergency door. That problems create. That's why we are all the passengers down against the flight.
But did you see who opened the emergency door, sir? Did you see when it happened?
No, Aeros only announced. Emergency door, somebody's emergency door touched the emergency door. Emergency door, but not open. I don't showing. I think not open, but touch with the emergency door.
I want to cut across back to my colleague Sage Raj, who's joining us. Sage, what is the punishment that the DGCA or the airline actually metes out in situations such as this, which we spoke about earlier? Because here it's a misadventure for fun is what is being reported. But what if any passenger jeopardizes the safety of others by misconduct such as this, opening the exit door before the flight takes off? Is there any punishment at all as per protocol?
As per the protocol, they do warn the passenger that they shouldn't involve in that. And even, Preeti, when you step inside any kind of aircraft to fly somewhere, there are warnings which has been used, there are instructions which has been given by the staff of that particular airline. And in this particular case, what we also get to learn is the passenger, allegedly Tejaswi Surya, has given an apology letter to the aircraft, people stating that he will not repeat this again. But so far, the Tejaswi Surya's office has not clarified, but the aircraft company has given a press notice on the same and given a clarification. Yes, they have taken an apology letter from the passenger, but we need to wait and check what the rule book says, or whether there is any kind of stern warning or there is any kind of punishment. For an example, next time they cannot board this particular flight, or a suspension of that particular passenger for a certain period of time. But so far, there is no proper statement whether this is the kind of rule that has been followed in the past.
Again, the story has become very political, understandably so, because at one end there's stone cold silence from Tejaswi Surya, who's refusing to accept what really went down on the airline. On the other account, the airline in question, Indigo, hasn't named viewers, and we must underline that it hasn't named Tejaswi Surya as the passenger on board who jeopardized other passenger security by opening the exit door for pure fun purposes. They haven't named him. They've said one passenger did so. The flight was deboarded and it took off after 3 hours. Eyewitness accounts, multiple eyewitness accounts have corroborated to suggest it was nobody else but Tejaswi Surya. So the question, Sagai, is highly political. Tejaswi Surya is a representative of South Bengaluru. When it comes down to his constituency, he's an MP where Lok Sabha is concerned. Lots of questions that arise at the capability of a member of parliament who could actually open the exit door just purely for fun is what is being alleged and reported. The story has also taken a political turn. What are you picking up? The AIMIM has jumped in. The Congress, DK Sivakumar has tweeted a short while ago. The story will become political. Just stay with me, Sagai. I'm cutting across to Majid Memon as well. Mr. Memon, your first reactions. Till now, of course, the DGCA or the airline has not named Tejaswi Surya, but eyewitness account seems to suggest it was him.
Well, I think, the rules are to be followed by anyone, whether he is a member of parliament or a minister or belonging to any political party, or any person from any area of the society. You see, he has to, and particularly the security measures like emergency exits, etc. You see, if you remember that when in every aircraft there are instructions being given, especially and specifically and particularly to those who are occupying the chairs at the emergency exit, that the air hostess would come and she is duty bound to warn them about the manner in which the protection is to be taken with regard to nearness from the emergency exit. And if anybody violates it, definitely this is something serious. I would not, even if my man does it, then certainly it's a wrong if he has done it. But then the facts will have to be ascertained as to whether what precisely happened.
All right, Mr. Memon, appreciate you joining us. Mr. Memon from the TMC. Like I said, it's become very political. The TMC has tweeted out the Congress is slamming Tejaswi Surya. The AIMIM has also jumped in. But importantly, Sagai, I'll ask you one quick question. It's going to take a massive political turn in poll-bound Karnataka. 3 months from now, Karnataka goes into election. The Congress will make a political meal out of this.
Absolutely. And remember, this particular incident has happened, according to one of the eyewitnesses, is on December 10th. And now it has surfaced. And definitely the opposition party in the state of Karnataka, especially Congress, will cash in the situation. And they have already started to criticize him on social media. And probably we might get to see many of these politicians come out and take advantage of the situation and try to criticize him in open public.
All right, Saga, I appreciate you joining us, because that's the big news that we're tracking very closely. Tejaswi Surya, the MP on the 10th of December, allegedly was sitting right next to the emergency exit of an Indigo airline. And he allegedly, once again, yes, he allegedly opened the exit door for fun. And no word coming in from Tejaswi Surya, no word coming in from the airline in question, Indigo or the DGCA. These are multiple eyewitness accounts which seem to corroborate the same. The passengers were deboarded. The flight took off after 3 hours. Many questions being raised as somebody who's a member of parliament representing a constituency in Bengaluru could actually open the exit door for fun. Trust India today, we're going to keep asking the questions, especially from Mr. Tejaswi Surya himself, because if he wasn't the person in question, he needs to come out and quickly clarify the same. With that, I want to quickly shift focus to the other big political developing story that we're tracking very closely, and that is the Prime Minister Narendra Modi laid out the blueprint for 2024 for the Bharatiya Janata Party cadre at the National Executive. The biggest news coming in from the National Executive today is the extension that has been given to Mr. JP Nadda until next year post the general elections. So one thing is clear, that the BJP will fight 2024 under the presidency of the Bharatiya Janata Party of Mr. JP Nadda. The two-day National Executive meeting concluded with the Prime Minister Modi's big message to its cadre. The Prime Minister in the meeting of the National Executive gave directions to strengthen the organization in villages near the borders and strengthen the booth to create new workers as well.
एक भारत श्रेष्ठ भारत इस संकल्प को दोहराते हुए हमारे सारे राज्य एक दूसरे के साथ समन्वय करें, एक दूसरे के भाषा को, कल्चर को हम किस प्रकार से अपनाएं, किस प्रकार से उसके साथ हम लोग एक भावनात्मक रूप से जुड़े, इसके भी कार्यक्रम हो। जिस प्रकार से काशी में तमिल संगमम हुआ, उसी प्रकार से हम लोग अलग अलग भाषाओं को साथ में लेकर इस भारत को एक भारत के रूप में कैसे तैयार करें, ये भी बात उन्होंने हम सबके सामने रखी।
And viewers, like I pointed out in its biggest political announcement of the National Executive, the BJP appointed Mr. JP Nadda as the president. An extension, of course, was given to him. He is currently the president of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Mr. Nadda will remain as the BJP chief till June 2024, which effectively means that the BJP will fight the general elections 2024 under his leadership as president. The announcement was made by Home Minister Amit Shah on day 2 of the National Executive. The decision is being seen as part of BJP's strategy for an election year where 9 states will go to polls, keeping in mind the Lok Sabha election slated next. Amit Shah said the party has had the highest strike rate under Mr. Nadda, who led the BJP to win key state elections, and that it was Rajnath Singh who had proposed the extension of Mr. JP Nadda.
कई बार भूतकाल में भी इस प्रकार के अलग अलग मौकों के कारण राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष के कार्यकाल को एक्सटेंशन दिया गया। इसी परंपरा का अनुसरण करते हुए श्री जगत प्रकाश नड्डा जी को राष्ट्रीय कार्यकारिणी ने आज सर्वानुमत प्रस्ताव किया है। श्री राजनाथ सिंह जी ने इस प्रस्ताव को रखा और सभी भारतीय जनता पार्टी के सदस्यों ने इसको हर्ष ध्वनि के साथ सर्वानुमत से स्वीकार किया है कि जगत प्रकाश नड्डा जी को जून 2024 तक भारतीय जनता पार्टी के अध्यक्ष के रूप में इनके कार्यकाल को बढ़ोतरी की जाए।
Connecting to our consulting editor, Rahul Srivastav, who's joining me live with the very latest. Rahul, expected announcement. It was expected that Mr. JP Nadda would be given an extension. What's also interesting in all of this is, while so much deliberation on Mr. Kharge's appointment over election selection, not much here, quite clear.
Yes, Preeti, because the basic idea that Mr. Nadda will be given an extension, the decision was taken earlier at other levels, that is the parliamentary board and others. So basically, it is largely an extension decision which has been taken. And remember that even if there is an election exercise, the decision to give an extension has been taken largely because the membership list and the membership drive and several other exercises for which all the state committees and everything needs to be in place through a due election process are not in place. And that is why this extension. But yes, I think it's more of a working relationship which has been created, because I think Mr. Amit Shah and Prime Minister Narendra Modi have settled in terms of working equations with JP Nadda, and I think it's brought them dividends. If one looks at it, the manner in which Nadda has carried out the exercise of running the party, while Prime Minister Narendra Modi is the face and Amit Shah is the strategist. I think the one of the biggest stories also in this meet is what the Prime Minister has said. I think the Prime Minister definitely has given a call that is just 400 days left for 2024 elections. I think that's a clear message for all the party cadres to sit up, take note, and start working for 2024. But I think there is also a tone that the Prime Minister has set in reaction to the Bharat Jodo Yatra and the criticism that the BJP and the Prime Minister have been facing for what is being called as exclusivist policies in terms of alienating segments of the society. And I think if you see what the Prime Minister said repeatedly, that this is perhaps the best opportunity for India and the BJP to work harder as far as the nation and the Vikas, the growth story is concerned. But also he has said that everybody should work, that more and more segments join us, irrespective of the demand for votes and elections. I think that's one very, very strong statement the Prime Minister made to counter the charge that was being made against him and his party.
Appreciate you joining us, Rahul. We're going to continue to come back for more. And it's for no reason that the Bharatiya Janata Party is called the best election machine, or with the best election machinery in its arsenal going ahead. 9 states go into elections this year. Litmus test for Mr. Nadda as well, as the BJP builds up to the big general elections in 2024. Most political analysts already given the pole position to the BJP when it comes down to 2024, even though it's still a year away. With that, a quick break. To stay with us. On the other side is our fact check segment.
It's 2023, and India remains the sole shining star in the global economy. So what lies ahead as the Modi government prepares its last full budget before the 2024 general elections? Join the biggest names in business journalism, decoding the jargon with the biggest newsmakers. From the most credible, in-depth analysis of Budget 2023, tune in for Modinomics 2023 through the month. Only on India Today and Business Today Television, gold standard of business journalism.
The Ukrainians seem to be pushing back against the Russian army, but we're also seeing the Russian army now being armed with Iranian drones, which seem to be having a devastating effect, and the level of war crime seems to be increasing. What's your sense of how the Russia-Ukraine war plays out through this year?
I mean, the smart money, I think, is on things continuing as they are in a rough stalemate. What is very clear to me is that the Ukrainians are not going to give up. They've gone all in on losing whatever they have to lose to win the war. They have so far rejected any notion of peace talks, in part because they feel like they're in a position of strength. They have momentum. So that's their side of things. On their end, they need Western supplies of weapons, more advanced weapons. Recently, they've just gotten a delivery of tanks from the UK. They've asked for more higher level artillery, stuff rockets that reach further into Russian territory. That's the kind of stuff they want moving forward. On Russia's end, who knows? I mean, we're essentially talking about the mindset of one person and what he wants out of this. At some point, you've got to wonder that he thinks that he's gotten something that he can declare as a victory, that he can make seem as a victory. We don't know what that is exactly. We've begun to hear rumblings that the Russians might want to talk at some point, but this only works if both sides want to talk. So we need the Russians to need it as much as the Ukrainians do. We're not there yet.
We're also seeing NATO countries offer arms to Ukraine, which was so far off the table. Increasingly, tanks being given, which earlier was seen as NATO being dragged more deep into the conflict, which NATO was trying to avoid. How high, according to you, is the probability of the conflict escalating this year?
It's fairly high. It's as high as it was even last year. I mean, there's still the imminent risk of Russians using a tactical nuclear device, of them feeling like their backs to the wall in a certain part of territory that they've occupied. We know that they have chemical and biological weapons that they may choose to use, as they have, by the way, in places like Syria. So in a sense, nothing is really off the table. Putin doesn't want us to think otherwise, because he wants to use those things as a deterrent. So there's a high degree of possibility of things escalating. And that, by the way, is the reason why the West isn't more involved than it is. The reason why the US doesn't formally have boots on the ground is exactly that reason. They want to prevent a larger escalation. That is Putin's trump card, in a way. He needs this to be as isolated as it possibly can be.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
All right, viewers, with that, quickly to our fact-check segment where we bust certain claims masquerading to be facts on social media platforms and WhatsApp groups. Now, there is a claim floating about suggesting that this particular video was recorded minutes before the crash of Indigo Airlines in Nepal. Incorrect. This video, viewers, took place in Moscow, nothing to do with what happened in Nepal. It's a video from an airline crash in Moscow. With that, a quick break to stay with us. On the other side is To the Point. Priyanka Gandhi in Karnataka delivering the second wave of promises, but enough controversy, Mr. Shivakumar, that's been generated at the back of Na Nike, the entire event. The BJP now has said that the Congress paid the women 2,000 rupees to come and attend the event for women.
I think BJP is miffed with all this dirty issue planning. I think whatever we have promised, we will deliver, number one, because of the price rise. Any event, why we need to pay? We have assured the people of Karnataka that we are going to pay when we form a government. We have confidence. The people of this state are suffering because of the price rise. That is why we have taken this stand. Why BJP has to worry? They have an opportunity. They had an opportunity. No. In the national level, what they promised, 15 lakh rupees per every account, they could not deliver. Double the income of every common man, they could not do it. 3.5 years they had a government here in Karnataka, they could not do anything. What can they do now? They are trying to make out a controversy, tell out something. Let them do. It is their job.
But, you know, what they're raising, Mr. Shivakumar, is that you went, which is the Congress, which was again spearheaded by Priyanka Gandhi, went to Uttar Pradesh with Ladki Hoon, Lad Sakti Hoon, which was once again a campaign aimed at the women of UP. You came back with 2 seats. So therefore, they are comparing a similar campaign, which is the Na Nike campaign, to a Nalayak campaign in Karnataka. That is what the BJP says.
No, at least they are very much serious about us. They are afraid of us. They are trying to comment. It is their duty, let them do. We are at least bother about what they do and all. We want to deliver what we have promised. We know the suffering of the people. You know the price rise. You know the diesel. You know the petrol. You know the gas. You know the cooking oil. You know all the vegetables, even the milk and everything. Every common man with this GST and demonetization, even a common man can't build his house. All the prices are very high. All these things are going on. So we want to give a solution.
But this solution, Mr. Shivakumar, is said to be an old...
Nanaiki. We want to...
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
As a Nanaiki program is a program for women. Nanaiki is a program which we wanted to tell that every woman is a leader. She is a leader himself. That is what Indira Gandhi gave her the strength. It is what at the UPA we gave the strength. And tomorrow also, earlier also in the Congress regime, when Krishnaji was the Chief Minister, we gave this Shri Shakti program, empowering women. Lakhs of societies were being formed. We empowered the women. It is a great model in the country now. When Indira Gandhi was there, she wanted these small children, this Anganwadi started. Then at the time of Manmohan Singh, various constitution amendments was being done to protect the women rights. That is why we are protecting women. The woman is there where there is no caste, creed and everything. 50% of the population. Is it not a duty of any political party to see that we help all of them?